Hey, what's up everybody? Check out this week's introduction video. I did something a little different and made a full introduction of my plans for this week's inspections and future plans. So with that being said, and after a quick look at the entrance of hive number 1, let's get into the hive. Do a quick check, see how the honey super's doing. Hopefully it's looking better than last week. And then we'll get into the brood box and see what the hive's been up to. Hopefully they're curing this honey. So it has been hot lately. No kidding. Yesterday afternoon, our weather station said it was 116 degrees. And then a beekeeper around the Charlotte, North Carolina area, he's pretty high tech. He's got hive monitoring scales, and I guess it measures the temperature of the hive as well. His were reading about 120 degrees, so I guess that makes sense. Well, I'll show you what I see, and we'll take a look at a few of these. They're looking a lot better than they were last week, so hopefully with the combination of less rain and more heat, the bees are curing this honey. And crap, that is not what I wanted to see out of the center frame, but the ones next to it look a lot better. So I did say this in the intro, I have a super on hive number 3 as well. I'm gonna take a peek into them, or into that box, and see how they're working. The super, yeah, that's coming along nicely. And I might move a frame down here or two if need be, because the outside frames aren't looking as good, which is kind of expected, I guess. Yeah, there we go. That's looking a lot better. All right, I've made the decision. I'm gonna give them about another week. I'm also gonna do something, well, actually, let's see. Let's take a look at these last frames. I know they're drawn and yeah, see, that's got a ton of nectar in it too. I don't really check the outside frames too often, just because if the center frames still need work, usually the out frames need more work. But I mean, it's coming along. Dang, man. It might be another week or two on it. Well, another week for sure, but it might be 2 more weeks, or if not more. It's hard to say. I mean, that one's coming along nicely. It's full of nectar. They're just slow to cap it. I don't know if I showed you this one, but no. Nope. But, I mean, look at this one here. That's what you want to see. That's beautiful there. Yeah, they're still working it. All right, let me get them. Let me get that spaced up real quick. What I mean is using the spacer, and then we'll just pop into the brood chamber, see how things are going. I bought some pretty handy tools this year. Very pleased with some purchases, and nothing really expensive either. Yeah, very, very handy. All right, let's put the inner cover back on, try and contain them. Sweat is just rolling down my face already. It does have some nice weight to it though. I just wish the bees would cap it a little more. Alright, here we go. Let's get into the brood chamber. Let's do hopefully what's a quick look. Always check the bottom side of your queen excluders for the queen. I have found the queen on the bottom side of the inner cover before. Excluder, but kind of the same difference. So this hive has been really good at having a pretty darn mature queen cell ready for me to do something with almost every single time I've inspected them. So that is typically why I go frame by frame. As long as they have the honey super on, even if they don't, really. I don't like my hives to swarm, especially if you have the equipment to do something with a potential swarm, or queen cell really, make an artificial swarm. So, and that's what happened last week. I don't remember the frame, but I mean, they had a very mature queen cell ready for me. Let me grab the flashlight, just because that's a nice brood frame. Check for eggs real quick. I did not buy this year. I've had this. It was actually a Christmas present a few years back, but it has turned out to be an extremely handy tool. Yeah, so surrounding the capped brood right there, right where the flashlight is, a ton of pupated larvae. And I said this in a previous video, if you kind of track the pupated larva as it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, yep, sure enough, there's some eggs right there. And speaking of queen cells and everything, that is, sure enough, I was gonna say a queen cup if it's dry, but that has an egg in it. You're not gonna be able to see that, but that does have an egg. So that is frame 4. I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna let the bees just keep working it, especially because I'm gonna leave the super on. But frame 4, next week, within the next week or so, when I pull the super, that's a good candidate to make a split off of. So, kind of case in point, why you should inspect your bees, I'd say at least weekly, maybe every 10 days if you want to stretch it a little bit. But yeah, frame 4, nice brood frame, has some eggs, and has a queen cell because the cup has a very, very small pupated larva. It was an egg that was probably laid maybe 4 days ago, and they've just started, well, 4 days ago, yeah, it just started to pupate. And I don't see any eggs on that side. I don't see any eggs on that side either. I think I found the queen on like one of the last frames. I think the queens are getting kind of smart and they realize once the hive is exposed and there's a whole bunch of sunlight and everything, that something's going on. Mainly I'm coming through the hives and inspecting them. The very top of the frame there, you can see bee bringing in very nice, beautiful yellow pollen. So they're still getting food from somewhere, which is good. There's some pupated larvae on that side. That's a very nice food frame, ton of pollen. There's another queen cup. Let's take a look. Now that's actually a dry cup. So yeah, frame number 4, something to pay attention to in the next few weeks. I imagine next week when I come out, that queen cell is going to be very nicely developed by then. And that seems to be pretty good timing. Ton of eggs on this side, because as that queen cell develops along, and then like pretty much right before they cap it and everything, I should be removing the honey super, and then I can use that frame and a few other frames to make a split. And I have one more frame to go, but you know what's funny is I have not seen the queen yet, and she is marked. Let's see if she's on this very last frame. She's in here somewhere, but she is avoiding me this week. Oh, huh. Speaking of, there she is right there. And that's why it's nice to have marked queens. Alright, she's on the very last frame. Let's get them boxed up. Put them back together. So yeah, again, next week, frame number 4 is the one to pay attention to. Starting to get a little agitated, so I got something for him in the form of a smoke. Yeah, it seemed to kind of piss him off a little more. The adverse effects of giving him smoke. Yeah, so queen right. I think I found eggs on frame 4, the earliest, where that queen cell was as well. And found the queen on the very last frame, and also have a queen cell on frame number 4. Alright, so that's that. Put them back how I found them. The queen excluder and the honey super. Man, that's got some nice weight to it. It would just be a lot nicer they started to cap some of those frames. Yeah, so unlike what I said in the intro, mainly because of how the super looks, even the outside frames, I'm not going to manipulate any frames between hive 3 and 1. 3 is just going to have to work what they have to work. Same thing with 1. And yep, typical front entrance, front porch, post inspection. A little bit of chaos there. All right, hey, thanks for watching, everybody. A little bit of a longer video than usual, or than I would like to. Trying to beat the heat, so might end up moving a little quicker. Hey, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. If you hit the bell, you receive notifications of future videos. Yeah, just appreciate everybody following us along on this journey of ours.